Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome into another live stream. We've got Tyler Robinson, the shooter, appearing in a hearing virtually. They always do these hearings virtual, but he said his name. I saw it, but we'll probably watch it here if it's on here. So, not much was accomplished. The next hearing is on the 29th or something. D Money, what are you shilling, man? You always shill a coin that's like 5 billion in market cap. It's like, brother, you're going for like a 7x. Did you see Destiny crying today? I think that's an old tweet of him getting banned from Twitch. He's been banned from Twitch for a while now, for like years. So I mean, but I don't know. Maybe what was there something else with him? ABC News, dude. Did you see that? ABC News, dude. News anchor or fucking news reporter was like, it's called the text message. He's just like, this is a different side we're seeing. These were very touching messages. These were very nice messages. I was like, what? Yeah, that's what I thought. Shamrock, that's what I thought. He was banned 3 years ago. But they're falling for it, and people try and get the interactions, so people go for interactions. Thoughts on Pam hate speech? I think it's bad. We're bringing anti-Semitism into it with this, trying to pass some stuff, hiding it behind the assassination and the response. I come on. Is my name Dylan or Zach? Are you talking to me? No. You doing NFL predictions this week? I don't think so, man. Honestly, I'm not. I'm not good at predicting the NFL, and it's just like it doesn't make sense for me to do them. I don't know. We'll see what happens with the channel. I mean, right now it's just kind of like the assassination stuff. I mean, my channel was kind of like, just yo-yoing. Then this happened, and so I don't know. Can the old ways of the death penalty come back and become common again? The death penalty it's so stigmatized that you either love the death penalty and you want it to happen really quick, or you don't believe in the death penalty at all. That's how I view a lot of Americans' take on the death penalty. But you're right, the death penalty, unless it's like a federal charge, I think if they get him on a federal charge like Timothy McVeigh, they might be able to expedite it, and it might be done in 4 or 5 years. His actual execution might be in 4 or 5 years. The problem is that it gets bogged down in appeals. They're revealing a ton of information. They're being very charitable in the amount of information they're giving out. It's not surprising with Kirk and conservatives. Where's the evidence for the Israel angle? It relates back to Kirk denying. Apparently, Israel offered Kirk $150 million to shill more for them. He declined it, and there were several interviews before his death where you could tell he was kind of talking down on Israel, saying that there's some things that he didn't like in terms of the way things were headed. It's very circumstantial, and that tends to normally that's normally how it is when it comes to conspiracies. Shooter and trans boyfriend text message scripted. Yeah, well, people were saying it was fake. I mean, they're real messages, but they're definitely 1,000% is the idea that the way this reads and the way they want it to read, meaning the trans boyfriend and the shooter, is that this kid just 1 week ago said, "Oh my goodness, I just realized it's been reported Charlie Kirk is coming. I'm gonna tell no one and just kill him." And so you can see by the messages, it's like the boyfriend is shocked, like, whoa. And that wouldn't really track with how these things go, especially if they're living together especially if they both hate Kirk because he's against trans. So we'll see what happens with all of that. Thoughts on Anna Kasparian and Destiny debate? Yeah, dude, it's just like constant screaming. I mean, that's what it was, just like constant screaming, and I don't know. It's hard to even hear. They just scream at each other. On Piers Morgan, that's all that is they just scream over top of each other. I mean, if they're in the same room, it's better, but you know, over webcam, it's hard to really see. I think Missouri beats SC. SC, we don't know what their quarterback situation. No, I'm just drinking water, man. Text messages seem pretty incriminating. No, it reads like he just did it randomly, basically, and that no one else should be charged or no one else was involved. I mean, he did say that he did it because he hated Kirk, but like the whole thing about the note being under the keyboard, really, the lying of the left around the ideology of the twink is disgusting. Well, I mean, I don't really see the copium with them at this point. It's over. The kid's a leftist. The kid did it because he hated Kirk. He was dating someone that was trans, that was in the middle of transitioning. They said transitioning male to female. That's who he was dating. And he said Kirk had too much hate. So it's solved. I mean, I don't get this. What left? What is there left to know? I mean, I guess what's left to know is how did the radicalization happen? And I don't think it happened the way in which those text messages are saying. I do think they're real messages from him, but they're staged in a way to try and make it seem like he just thought of this a week ago and no one else is involved. And so hopefully they're able to find more. You know, those messages on Discord, they always get saved. They probably nuked a bunch of the channels, but it shouldn't matter. They should be able to recover those messages. Destiny had one of the worst points possible. There was more political violence under Trump than any other government, and he's right. I mean, even is he right? I don't even know if he's. It's hard to even tell. I mean, political violence in terms of maybe there was administration in the 1900s where there was a bunch of political violence. I mean, hell, there was a ton of political violence back during the Civil War. I mean, I don't even get what, like, I guess modern sense more. There's more, but it's like you can't even compare administrations. Trump is really one of the first presidents to have all the social media and stuff. The only other one, I guess, what Obama and Biden for 4 years. So I don't even know how that really works. Like, obviously, there's going to be, the sides have gotten a lot more hostile towards each other. Some of that is a byproduct of them hating Trump. Some of that is a byproduct of Republicans changing a little bit and becoming less neocon. I think the thought of it is Destiny is all right with Republicans as long as as long as they lose and go, ah, shucks. But if they fight back and win and become a different, obviously the party's transformed. I'm sure he likes John McCain. I'm sure he likes Mitt Romney, but he doesn't like someone like Trump. And obviously the party changed, but I don't even know, like, the political violence stuff but I mean, the way in which the liberals argue it is it's always going to be Trump's fault no matter what. So Trump's really not allowed to say anything, because if one of Trump's people gets attacked or Trump gets shot at, it's Trump's fault. If one of the liberals gets attacked or shot at, it's still Trump's fault. So no matter what happens, it's always Trump's fault and there's no accountability. When this is one of the most clear-cut cases imaginable, and this is even more of a cultural, societal point that doesn't involve Trump too much in terms of the reason these people shot him because of the far-left trans stuff, which is more of a Republican point and just a societal point overall, with people agreeing or not agreeing with that stuff. So it's not even necessarily about Trump in terms of the shooting. That's how ridiculous it is. You saw the room tour? Get a new desk. It's looking like a goon cave. Thank you for the $20. That'll go to the. Yeah, the thing is I actually do have a new desk, but I don't want to. I don't, and it's a decent desk, but I don't want to put it up right now because I don't want to it's in a box. It's in a big box, and I want to wait for when I move to put it up. But I gotta get a lot of new furniture. A lot of new furniture. As a liberal, I'd say Trump is an agitator, a dick around in conservative chats. I am also an agitator. Yeah, I mean, but that's kind of ridiculous. I mean, to say to say that, well, because Trump is a little bit more boisterous and trolls and stuff like that, that shouldn't be a reason to kill people. But I mean, I don't even think this was about necessarily Trump. I mean, obviously Kirk is heavily against the trans stuff, so they were agitated by Kirk, if anything. The funeral sold out. Well, that would be around, I think it would be over 60,000 people because they used the floor. So it could be like 75,000 people if that's true. Um, wow, it's just insane. You're asking if my name is Brody? No, it's not. I never heard of that. I never heard of Mallrats. It's like we got new viewers or something tonight. I don't know. Do you notice you have a lot of Asmongold viewers who follow you? No, I don't notice that, honestly. A lot of it is different types of right wing people, I'll say that. But you got to stop not reading the whole comment. You said that there being more political violence under Trump's administration is because of liberals not getting their way, proving our point. Yeah, no, I know. I trust me. I can read it. I can guess on what you're gonna say, but I'm just saying in general. It doesn't even the political violence thing. Whether or not there's more political violence and who's to blame, it's there has to be. If there's more political violence and it's the liberals' fault, then it's the liberals' fault. You can't say, well, Trump needs to stop talking or stop doing what is politically advantageous for him because liberals might decide to shoot someone in the head. I mean, that's ridiculous. There has to be accountability from the left, whether or not there's political violence, and you can say, well, they're to blame because they don't get their way. Jew. The Alex Jones gif. Yeah, I've seen that. That was actually a rhetorical thing if you watched what he was saying during that. He was saying that some people on the right are so obsessed with Jews, and so they just call everything, Jewish conspiracy. Just like this, just like Israel with this. You gonna cover any European politics? Probably not. I mean, I'll see the elections if a conservative group wins. Cash meeting sucks. I saw a bunch of. I saw him going at it with liberal representatives, and I guess that's just how it is. Do you ever go back and watch yourself nail 50 of 50 states? Dude, I remember that. I don't know why I had like the leaf animation. Remember the leaves falling? That was on that. I don't know why that was on that for that video. Yeah, I did watch that. I remember we were watching that. That was hilarious. That was hilarious. I just had Trump win all the swing states, and so you get 50 out of 50 because he did win all of them. Juan, what's up? Just got approval for my new apartment. You'll be moving in soon. Do you think the funeral will be open casket? I had heard from a professional in Balmer, it's probably not going to be open casket, but I don't know. I haven't heard anything actually from the Kirk family on if it's going to be open casket or not. Obviously, she shared that video of Kirk's hands. Um, I mean, where he was shot, you could definitely, if they wanted to, I think they could get away with doing open casket because it's a neck wound. but I don't know. Hoping Kirk's service has great security. Oh yeah, 100%. Well, if Trump is there, it's bound to have amazing security. It's you got Erica Trump or Erica Kirk, Trump, Vance, Rubio, pretty much all of them, all the major ones within the administration. Tucker Carlson. These are the people that are speaking. Cleveland Browns new helmet. I haven't seen it. It's like they do that stuff every day. They always release new helmets nowadays. The Browns. It looks like the Browns just got new jerseys like a year ago or 2 years ago. What the hell is going on with the furry stuff? How has that ever been normalized by society? It's just liberal acceptance. They accept everything, even at the detriment of society. Because if you say it's wrong, then it's called insensitive. People are protesting Epstein in London. Trump's handling of the Kirk assassination is disgraceful. It's not. This is not up to Trump. This is the judicial wing. This is the intelligence wing of the. It's not. It's not an executive. Trump is not handling this at all. These are powers passed down. I mean, you could say who he appoints is bad, but did you see the YouGov poll on political violence? It confirms everything we have been saying. Um, I'm just gonna say, I'm gonna tell you about that poll. Obviously, we just had political violence committed by the left against the right, so that poll does not surprise me. If it was the other way, well, I'm not gonna say that, but I don't think that poll tells you as much as maybe it does. I don't know. It's just obviously if it's that way, it's the people leftists are going to be more accepting of political violence because their side did it against the right. So I think we would find it, if we would find a different result if it would happen in the inverse. Now I don't think Republicans would be accepting of it, but it's it's a poll that was done in a way that it doesn't surprise me that liberals would say, "Oh yeah, I'm accepting of it because it's against my political opponent." But if it happened to them, I'd say, or they'd say, "We're not accepting of it." So, and I know Republicans to say we don't accept political violence at all. And then they try and pinpoint certain things. It's one of those both sides argument. The way I look at it, I just say, well, if the two most important people within the conservative, or at least two of the most important people within the conservative movement have been shot at, and really there's no liberal comparison at all. It's not like any of the top liberal people are getting shot at. There's obviously a difference. They're trying to bring up these statistics of like overall political violence, but what does that even mean? I mean, what does that entail? You're saying there's like 70 incidents of political violence. Political violence in what form? Against a politician? Against, I don't even know what it means because I could name on my hand the amount of political violence in terms of against politicians that I can remember. And obviously the two biggest ones are Trump and Kirk. Yeah, the surveys. I mean, the surveys are the surveys. The people that answer them. I don't answer surveys, so it's like, and obviously I'm in, pretty political and at least so. But it still kind of encompasses a certain feel, I guess. But you're right. There's a certain type that answers surveys. You're going to the Kirk funeral. You spoke to local police here in Arizona. Going to be total lockdown, Super Bowl level security. Luke Air Force Base is 10, 15 minutes away from the stadium. Yeah, how does that work? So you have like a ticket, like a seat. You get assigned a seat, just like an NFL game, basically. I mean, it's at a stadium. You're funding my trip to kiss the wall and get. I think you meant my dick. Yeah. Well, talking about what circumcision. I never been to Israel. I mean, Israel. It is historic. It is Holy Land. I mean, it's biblical. But I'm not kissing the Wailing Wall. You register to attend, but it's first come, first serve. Yeah, it's such a weird. Like, I mean, a funeral this large has got to be a very rare event. You know, funeral at a football stadium is just. Candace Owens. Yeah, I've seen some of the Candace Owens stuff. Well, she's pushing a lot of the Israel involvement. So there's a segment of people. I mean, there's a segment of people that think Israel's involved with everything. It's gonna be, Candace Owens. It's gonna be Ian Carroll. You've never seen a funeral this big? I mean, domestically, I don't know. Domestically, I mean, I'm sure they've got massive funerals and large population centers in foreign countries, but in the United States, I don't know, man. This is a big one. Not even Fuentes thinks it's Israel. Yeah, his fans got angry at him. That's the thing when you know, he's got all these supporters that are just ravenous, and he says, "Well, I don't think it's. I really don't think it's Israel based off the evidence." And he's got to kind of hold their hand and try and explain it, and they're pissed off. They say he's been bought and everything like that. He's delivering the eulogy. Fuentes, right? It's going to be one of the speakers. You don't really think that kind of conspiracy helps? Well, it's an opportunistic conspiracy. A lot of unfortunately, it is. Charlie Kirk was an extremely political person, so people are going to use this politically in a way, unfortunately. And it's like a fine line. It's a fine line between exploring different ideas on this and just what happened. But it is like some of the text messages, they really do not make sense. But I don't know, what are they going to fake the text message? Like, I don't think the FBI is faking the text message. I think maybe the text messages were staged by Robinson. What do you think about Steven Crowder calling for reciprocal violence? Really, he's calling for that seems like not something that's very wise to do, as for a public figure to do that. Calling for a response in terms of violence. Opinion on Fuentes ordering assassination theory. It's got to be a troll at this point. I think that's a troll, man. I've been asked that question a lot, but it doesn't even make sense to me. I mean, I understand Fuentes gains in more of an audience, but just based off of the kid, it just. And also, I'm not, I don't think Fuentes has that ability. Like the stream, yeah, guys, like the stream. Israel being involved implies they were in contact with Robinson. Good luck with that investigation. Yeah, well, the investigation would be fucked to them. Charge documents say his BF knew about bullet engraving. Yeah, I guess he told his boyfriend or something. But what do you think about the note being under the keyboard? And it's like, look at the note under the keyboard, and the note says, "I took out Charlie Kirk. I had to do it." You don't know much about Fuentes, but maybe he's actually intelligent enough to want to separate the Groypers from the crime by not immediately blaming Israel. Yeah, but I think that's a winning issue for them anyways. There's no just based off of this kid, he wasn't a groiper. I mean, the way in which saying that Kirk is a hateful person, it's a dead giveaway. It's a smack dab dead giveaway. There's no way it would be one of them. Um, but I also think it's one of those things. He has problems with Candace Owens, and Candace Owens has really been pushing this Israel stuff. A lot of this Israel stuff nowadays, it's who can get it first. It's like all these people run to blame Israel, but who can blame them first? Kind of, it's like they all run for the carrot. USC's S. Grant had the largest funeral attendance in American history, 1.5 million. Well, that would have been held somewhere outdoors then. Wouldn't be surprised if Fuentes is a leftist in 5 years or retired like Milo. It's very challenging for these influencers to stay politically relevant. So we'll have to see what ends up happening. I know he's trying to build his own movement, but it is very challenging to stay politically relevant. Enjoyed your videos today. Thank you. I appreciate them, man. I was going to do another video about the text messages, but I was working on something. You're a groiper. We'd never say Charlie is hateful. I know it's like a polar opposite thing. Like it just, and also the whole trans stuff and the bullet in casings. It just that type of vocabulary would not be prevalent at all. A lot of it was just liberal spin because there was the dynamic of Kirk and Fuentes hating each other, and especially Fuentes hating Kirk. But it's just not that. They were trying to spin it in a certain way, and it is just not going to work for them. So it is a liberal, and I think they're trying to contain it now. And they can try and spin it with these text messages and say, oh, it was just an isolated event, and it was just one kid who went crazy. And see, the text messages say it's just him. He's the only one that was involved. And I mean, according to these text messages, he's like, he insinuates he thought he was going to get away with it, and he was going to grow old with this secret that he murdered Charlie Kirk. And I mean, the delusion, like you do something like that, and that's why I said it's like I thought the kid would be willing to just die immediately. Like that's not something unless you're a professional and you have like a plane ticket out of the United States within 30 minutes of the killing, you're not getting away with it. You're going to go back to your parents' house and they're not, and it's not going to, like, I mean, what is the plan with that? That just doesn't make any sense. In the same state? The messages seem fake. The FBI is making these up and putting Tyler as the fall guy. This does seem like Trump was ordering the assassination. No, I disagree completely. I think the messages, in the way in which you're saying, I think you're wrong. I think Robinson, they maybe staged the messages to make it look like no one else knew. But I don't think Trump would do something like this. And I don't really see, I mean, really for Trump, there's nothing to gain from killing his top propagandist. There really is nothing. It's not like Charlie Kirk was ever thinking of turning on Trump at all. Charlie Kirk was always a 100% supporter of Trump. I mean, you can try and come at people with the Israel angle because there was rumors that Kirk was turning and he was talking about it and questioning Israel, but Trump, it just doesn't make any sense. They aren't trying to spin him as far right anymore. The media shifted to both sides, blah blah. And influencers are saying the official story just doesn't make any sense. Well, I mean, the official story is just he's a fucking. Obviously, he's dating a trans person. The trans people hate Kirk. Kirk, didn't believe in that lifestyle, and so it's like a radical trans that killed him. There's a lot of people that don't like Cash Patel. A lot of Republicans seemingly don't like Cash. I don't. I mean, Cash has maybe handled some things. The thing with Cash Patel, and I watch Cash do these updates, and it's almost like it's this performance for Cash. Like he's talking about doing all this stuff, and it's this huge thing. This is just like I feel like it's normal investigative. It's normal investigative work is what I wanted to say. So I don't really see how like Cash Patel, if you listen to him, he like drums it up like it's this huge thing that they're doing. He's like, we got his phone and we're tracing it with everyone he knows. And but it's like he's trying to be impressive. Like, isn't this just normal stuff that they're supposed to do with a high profile killing like this? It does feel like he's trying to brag about just normal FBI work. Prediction is that Trump and Israel will have a falling out. Tides are turning. I don't know, man. It's hard to say. I thought Trump was really going to stand up to Israel during the Iran nuclear negotiations, and it didn't happen. But maybe you're right, man. Maybe you're right. We'll have to see. There's just too much Israel support within the cabinet, I feel like. But I mean, maybe. Because they were talking about it and they were kind of telling Israel to fuck off when they were negotiating with Iran. Yeah, they kind of they're being very transparent with this, and they kind of have to be. They kind of have to be. Oh wow, I've never seen this picture before. Trump's talking about his lawsuit against the New York Times. Yeah, I don't, I don't think this is necessary, but he, now we've got Shapiro donating $1 million donation to Turning Point USA from the Daily Wire to honor Charlie Kirk. And Shapiro wants the Daily Wire now to be the parent company of Turning Point USA. Trump has Jewish grandchildren by Ivanka. Yeah, but that's really not blood. I mean, it's the other side. It's the husband side. Kushner. The reason we're turning on Cash is because he let a guy get away on foot and go 200 miles. Well, I think some of that is a lot of that is just it's happenstance because I mean, if somebody sees the guy running and says something, he's probably going to get caught within 30 minutes. If they don't, he's going to get away. So I don't know how much of that is in, being incompetent. Obviously, they arrested the wrong person. That's a problem. They announced they had someone and then they didn't have them. That does reek of incompetence. Can Massey be primaried out? The Trump is trying to do that. I mean, Trump's got a lot of ads right now in Kentucky trying to primary him out. Those polls on political violence include white supremacists fighting in jail as right wing political violence. Just look it up. Thoughts on the old man being charged with CP? I don't know what the fuck is. I think that's, I was told that George Zinn is his name. He's an adjutant on campus. He's an obnoxious old person. I think got some serious issues, obviously, if he's going to get charged with that. And so I mean, I don't know. Why would he be saying that? Is he just a schizophrenic? Is he, the question is it an on purpose distraction, or is it just a lucky happenstance thing for Robinson to have a distraction like that and to be able to get away? I don't know what's going on with that dude, honestly. You don't think Daily Wire should buy Turning Point? No way. Well, they know the power that Turning Point has. I mean, we'll see what happens after Kirk. But I mean, if Netanyahu, if they really did offer 150 million dollars to spread, Israel talking points and stuff, I mean, they obviously know it's a tremendous hole to fill with Kirk gone, and they know the power of it, and they know a lot of people follow the Turning Point USA stuff, and I think there's a maneuver, and we'll see what happens when it comes to who takes over this, but it's going to be interesting because. Again, I don't really think you can point to a single person as, oh, Turning Point USA is now going to be headed by this person. He's going to go on campus and do these debates. I don't think it's that simple because I don't think they really have a person. Should we cut off all aid to Israel until they stop being dicks? With Israel, it's not even necessarily about the amount of money because the United States has so much money. We've got a massive budget. It's more so the involvement in the Middle East, and we're going to get blamed for a lot of this stuff. And we're like the only ones in the West still supporting Israel at this point and what they're doing in Gaza and the West Bank. And I mean, they are going to annex territory under Trump, and Trump is like, he knows it, and he's talking about it, saying it's going to happen. Oh, the Epstein files again, man. The Epstein files. It's another. It is really, and I was thinking about this, and I see it clearly now. It is it's another psyop. It's another Russia, and people fall for it. It's sad. Actual shooter used old man to get away. Now the old man will get charged by CP, so they can Epstein him. Tyler is the fall guy. Trump 100% ordered assassination since Kirk was. Yeah, that's just not true at all. There is no. I mean, listen. You can say that. You're just 1,000% wrong. There's no way Trump views Charlie Kirk as an upcoming rival. Kirk was an adamant supporter of Trump. Kirk isn't even old enough to run for president. By the time Kirk is old enough to run for president, Trump is 83 years old. I mean, that it just makes absolutely no sense. I'm sorry that's wrong. You need to rethink it. Israel needs to decide to take Gaza or not. Well, they want the Palestinians out of Gaza. Now I don't know if they're going to take it, but I heard that Trump said, "Well, Gaza, the Palestinians are going to be ejected out of Gaza. Gaza will be rebuilt as an economic zone by the rich countries in the Middle East and the Gulf states like the UAE, Qatar, and others. And Israel is going to have like patrol over the new Gaza Strip, and they're going to have a lot of influence." That's what Trump was saying. I remember back in like February. I don't know if that's what's going to happen, but Derek, thank you for that, man. What are your predictions for the midterms? Well, I think the Republicans certainly keep the Senate. The House, I think you have to say it's 50-50 right now. They're improving their odds a little bit. I mean, betting will say the Dems are the favorites in the House, to be fair. It's a very slim majority. Normally, history tells us that the party that holds the presidency struggles in the midterms, and with it being a very simple majority, it's going to be a challenge to keep it. But they're going to improve their seat numbers possibly by 7 or 8 because of the gerrymandering. I don't know if they're going to be able to manipulate the census at all or redo it. It's going to be a challenge to keep the House. It is, but I can't sit here and say, oh, they're not going to keep the House. I think there's too much time. There's too much time in between now and the midterms. Only people that can be blamed for the shooting is the left. The shooter didn't quote Trump in the shooting. He hated Charlie directly. Yeah, I know. I really don't even think it's a Trump issue in terms of this. It really is like a cultural trans thing, probably. Um, that's what I'm getting from it right now. You think instead of having a new protagonist, they should just make compilations of all the people who already host debates for Turning Point USA? That doesn't make sense. They need new content. They need new content. They want to host events, I'm sure. New events. Do you think the Kirk situation will have an impact on the midterm? Seems like it would fire up the base. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say. We've never dealt with something. This is completely unique, having a figure like this die, assassinated, I should say. I just, it's hard to say. I think it should galvanize the base, and people really should step up and try and honor his legacy, because he certainly was someone that wanted young people to be registered. And, it wasn't even with him just debating kids and like even the national federal stuff. A lot of it was localized in Arizona, and so hopefully it galvanizes people. I mean, you don't know; it's still over a year away. I mean, this is just the reality of it is, as time passes, people move on with their lives and things of that nature, and so it's hard to gauge the exact level of impact that this death is going to have on the midterms. Let me see if I can find the messages. Here he is. That's him showing up for the virtual hearing. So are they saying the left wasn't involved in the shooting? Well, I don't know what they're saying. I think right now they're just trying to get information. The mainstream media is just trying to get information. Um, so the left is obviously involved in a way in terms of this kid being a leftist. Now let's see what gets reported, but everything we know is based on the evidence he was a leftist and he hated Kirk because he said Kirk was hateful. The issue with the messages they have between them, and no one knows what it means if they message means skipped messages. Well, so there's not so the it's like a broken conversation. There's not, some messages are not showing. Did you see Destiny was banned from Twitch? That's 3 years old. He got banned 3 years ago. They're trying to get an engagement. It's engagement farming. Wow, this kid got expelled. Texas State. He'll probably be enrolled somewhere else tomorrow. Where are the messages? Trump's in the UK. Please stop defending the evils of Epstein and deflecting it as a Democrat psyop. It doesn't. Yeah, but the thing is to a degree, it is a Democrat psyop, and Trump is not involved. Trump is not involved in that island. So they keep implying it, and it's just not true. What is the Arctic frost you're now seeing all over? Biden had Kirk and Trump investigated by FBI. You're saying Joe Biden had Charlie Kirk and Trump investigated by the FBI. I'm not sure what you're referencing with that. I never heard that Kirk was investigated by the Biden administration. We need a college football 26 video or dynasty series. Saw the Xbox in the room in the tour video. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't even own that game, honestly. I don't know. The problem, I like Dynasty, but I don't think they included enough features in Dynasty to make it good. It's just now leaking. It's insane. Does anyone know what that is? Apparently, a whistleblower came out and it was said that the Biden FBI essentially illegally launched investigations into multiple conservative and pro-Trump organizations. Wow. So they're saying that Biden's FBI illegally investigated conservative organizations like Turning Point. Wow. Watched Fuentes' show today, and he explained three theories: FBI's official story, Israel angle, and Groyper angle. He believes one. He said two is unconvincing. Well, he's got a lot of people, all of his fans. Always, they're gonna say it's Israel, so he has to kind of massage it to him and be like, well, this is why it's probably not this, and because they all want it to be Israel. So yeah, I mean, I don't really get accused of being in bed with Israel. I don't think people, it depends who your fans are. His fans 100% are gonna say he's turned if he doesn't blame Israel for everything. But I mean, look, with Israel, you have to understand in the modern sense, like the last 4 or 5 months, the way things have turned so rapidly, it's a race to see who can blame Israel fast enough. And sometimes it is true. Some of the stuff, definitely there's a lot of stuff they're doing that's bad, but there has to be a realization, and you have to take in the evidence and say, is it number one? Is it number two? Could it be there's all these different things. It's just, Charlie Kirk was still you could argue still an asset for Israel, and he still liked Israel. And there's a lot of people that are way more radical than him. Like the stream, lots of good info here tonight. Yeah, that's true. Like the stream, guys. Yeah, I saw something with Luigi Mangione. Something about him not getting terrorist charges. I don't know. I think he's still getting life in prison or whatever. That dude is such a bitch. Remember when he was screaming? They took him out of the cop car. He's like screaming something. All the women are like, "What is he saying?" It's looks like a bitch. What do you think about people saying Kirk's death was a cover up for the voting in Congress, like the Epstein releases, for example, or is it cope? Yeah, no, I'm not really buying that at all. I'm not buying that at all. Kirk is too important to what, so they're gonna assassinate him so people don't care about the Epstein stuff. The Epstein stuff already was a psyop. It became this democratic thing. It's so disingenuous. It doesn't. This is even worse than the Russia stuff, because they had 4 years to uncover. Well, apparently, the Biden administration was doing a lot when it came to illegally looking into. That is hilarious when you think about it. If that is true, they're illegally looking into pro-Trump organizations, but they won't release the Epstein files. Well, now all the Democrats care about is the Epstein files. They got to be angry, man. The Democrats, they got to come out and say, fuck Biden. How could he do this? They think Trump is this horrible enabler, or he was on the island, he committed horrible acts with children, and Biden covered it up. Oh, that's terrible. But Biden's gonna look into Turning Point USA illegally. Okay. FBI's election related investigation into President Trump launched in 2022 sweep in dozens of Republican entities, including Charlie Kirk's led Turning Point USA. Investigation into his presidency. So his first term. Will Robinson get the electric chair? I think it'd be firing squad. What did Mossad threaten me with? Well, they were gonna take away all my crypto after Kirk's death. Certain clearly many liberals hated him. Now, 100%, I agree. I mean, there's a lot of people that hated him, and they could have done something bad. And I mean, it just goes to show you. Please do research on Trump ordering assassination theory. Some interesting stuff that supports it, like Epstein files, Kirk turning against Israel. Dude, Trump did not order Charlie Kirk to be killed. It's like terminally on. This is the thing. This is what I'll say. Everybody wants to have this story first. They want to say, I'm smarter than you because I know these details and you're missing this. But something like, and this is why all these conspiracies come out. And they don't want to say, well, it's the official theory is the right one, and it's we're all on the internet. Everybody wants to believe something. It's not logical for Trump to be involved in this in any way. It's just not. It's just not. Kirk was an amazing propagandist. Do you think, oh, because Kirk was turning on Israel, Trump is obsessed and in bed with Israel that much that Trump would say, how dare you say one negative thing about Israel, when Trump has been critical of Israel before, by the way? If Trump was this big of a supporter of Israel, he would send in fucking troops to help Israel take over all of the West Bank at this point. If he's having his top propagandist killed for Israel. You're calling me an Israeli intelligent asset. You have been watching me since before I lost my AirPod on the plane, and he's totally and noticeably different. That's a very lore. That's probably like 3 people know that. I mean, that was when I back in 2021 that video came out, I think. The Trump ordering assassination theory is just more people looking for excuses to blame Trump for it. Well, I think it might even be different because it seems like it's like bipartisan. It's more so people just, the people are trying to say it's a distraction from the Epstein stuff. And there's always going to be events that happen that are terrible. It doesn't mean that they're put in place on purpose as distractions. Sometimes things just happen. But I mean, how is it a distraction? People are going to mourn this death, but then obviously the world is still going to turn and they're still going to have these votes on the Epstein stuff. Even Fuentes doesn't think Israel is involved. Yeah, and his supporters yelled at him. They said he was getting money from Israel now. I mean, this is what it is. Bring back Reddit story videos. Yeah, I mean the Reddit stuff is funny. Just how liberal it is. Conspiracy people are always like, I'm better than you because I don't believe the official story. That's why I don't talk about conspiracies. I know, and that's definitely something that happens. But with especially something like this that's so raw and so new, a conspiracy, whether true or not, the idea that people would have this knowledge on but it's like Kirk being a Trump political rival. It's nonsensical. It doesn't even make sense because of Trump's age, if anything, and also Kirk is 31 years old, or was 31 years old. So this is someone that couldn't even run for president for 4 more years. How is he a political rival of Trump? He's the number one biggest MAGA supporter. There was no indication that Kirk was going to turn on Trump. And there was very little indication that that Kirk was going to turn on Israel. I mean, there was a little bit more with Israel, but even that, it's like Trump criticizes Israel as well. Will the shooter get executed or life in prison? I don't know. That's going to be up to the jury and the court, the judge. So I think what they'll do is, even if he does get executed, it's going to be a long process. It's not going to happen right away, unless it becomes some type of federal involvement, because it is just a single killing. So I don't know how quickly they could do it. Charlie Kirk might have been one of the biggest reasons Trump got elected. Without Kirk, do we have President Trump? I think Trump would still win, but he certainly was a major. He certainly was a help in terms of getting people registered and influencing young people. But I still think Trump would have won. I mean, you got to remember, you're going up against Kamala Harris. It's very hard to lose. Globe lights up. Yeah, the globe lights up. It's just too bright. It's too bright to turn on. Can Netanyahu be trusted when he says Israel is not involved? Well, whether or not Netanyahu, Netanyahu, you're not going to trust Netanyahu, but with something like this, Israel was not involved in the Kirk assassination. Tired of hearing Israel. These people are too deep in. Well, it's always, especially the modern age, they're going to blame Israel for everything because it is a trendy thing, and Israel is like the number one conspiracy, especially now. Who do you really think ordered the assassination? Who do I think ordered the assassination? Well, so you're already wanting me to spout something up. No, I don't think anyone ordered. I don't think it was ordered by anyone. So what do you want me to say? Trump ordered it or Israel ordered it? I mean, the Democrats ordered it.
Groups. And I think when you start to bleed those two concepts together and create this notion that in this incredibly fraught moment, in the wake of this horrific, horrific shooting, when you foment the idea that we have to be at each other's throats politically, I think that's a dangerous place to be.
Why did I do it? I had enough of his hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out.
So can I ask you? So
he has flat.
Scott, just explain what you just read.
That is the message that the shooter, Tyler Robinson, sent to his roommate. That is what he said. He also engraved the word, "Hey, fascist, catch," on the bullet. For 10 years, we have heard nothing from the left but that Donald Trump is a fascist, Republicans are Nazis, authoritarians, destroy the Constitution,
but that's
bloodbath,
so
dictator for a day. And he wrote it on the bullet.
So can I ask you?
And he's been obviously marinating in some kind of information that radicalized him based on what he heard in the...
Remember, have you guys seen the interview? Have you guys seen the interview with the neighbor? With the neighbor of the shooter? He's like, yeah, I was riding my bicycle and I saw them kiss outside. He's like, I was riding my bicycle. It's a weird interview, man. I want to try and find that interview, but it's a strange interview.
the air in this country.
So does the shooter who assassinated Melissa Hortman, who was a stated Trump supporter, whose roommate said
Are you
he was
trying
a
to
Trump
equate these
does
two
he
things? I'm sorry.
represent? Can you let me finish my thought, please?
Please.
We're talking about two people in
Dude,
politics.
Scott Jennings was like, "Bitch, please." You can't say bitch on CNN, Scott.
Who both
I'm asking you, does that shooter represent the entirety of the MAGA movement? Of course not. I would never argue that. I don't think you would argue that. So why is it acceptable to use this moment to argue that somebody, a sick individual who committed a horrific crime,
How do you know he's sick?
is somehow Are you here to argue for his sanity?
I'm here to argue. All I know is what the prosecutor said today. He read very lucid messages from a shooter who was motivated by political hate, who had a plan to get away with it. He did not sound like a deranged person. He sounded like someone who had decided to take it upon himself to rid the world of someone that he hated politically, that he thought that the world would be better off without that. That's different than some deranged.
Scott Jennings and Caitlin Collins, opposites attract. When you've got a lib and a Republican like that, remember Karine Jean-Pierre and Peter Doocy? Remember when it came out that they had a fling? they had a White House fling. That's strange. But no, I think she's a lesbian, Karine Jean-Pierre. And so Trump, I guess it's cold in the UK. It's cold in the United Kingdom. Oh, God. Dude, this is just a weird individual.
We have seen an alleged murder with such specific text messages about the alleged murder weapon, where it was hidden, how it was placed, what was on it, but also it was very touching in a way that I think many of us didn't expect. A very intimate portrait into this relationship between the suspect's roommate and the suspect himself, with him repeatedly calling his roommate, who is transitioning, calling him my love, and I want to protect you, my love. So it was this duality of someone who the attorney said not only jeopardized the life of Charlie Kirk and the crowd, but was doing it in front of children, which is one of the aggravating circumstances of this case. And on the other hand, he was, speaking so lovingly about his partner. So a very interesting and, as Pierre said, riveting press conference, David.
But you got to know, as a professional, you can't phrase that like that with a case like this. Come on. I mean, I think he's got to look back on this and be like, I probably shouldn't have used that verbiage. Hortman's killer said Tim Walz told him to do it. And he unalived her because she voted against abortion, something a Republican would agree with. No, what the fuck is she talking about? No, 100%. Oh, yeah, dude, I wasn't even listening to that Scott Jennings debate. I'm sorry. But if that's actually what happened, yeah, that whataboutism doesn't work, but it can be shut down a lot easier when they try and do the whataboutism. They're like, well, there was this no-name congresswoman that died, and that's the same as Charlie Kirk. Bitch, no, it's not. Charlie Kirk was way more impactful than any liberal that's been the victim of political violence in, like, the past 30 years. So, you're lying, and you just made a false equivalency. Shut it down. Shut it down. Where's Joe Biden? Delaware. Actually, Scranton. A bunch of whataboutism going on. Sick of it? Yeah, I know. A state congresswoman is equal to Charlie Kirk. It's the same thing. But you're right on that. But let me ask you something. What if I compared Donald Trump to the one and only Paul motherfucking Pelosi? It seems like a reasonable comparison. I think the chat would agree with me. That's a fair comparison. No, it's a fair comparison.
Just want to pop something up from somebody who I know that you've worked with before in the House, Anna Polina Luna, who made a lot of news this morning, beginning to call out left-wing billionaires who are foreign, who fund militant organizations here that orchestrate violent riots. We know that they do this. We can trace the money back. They're calling for a full Treasury freeze on assets. Now, the vast majority.
Thoughts on Florida creating an Israel license plate? Floridians, you're joking. What do you mean an Israel license plate? Is it Hebrew numbers? I don't even know what that is. It does not sound good.
Majority of rich people on earth have assets here in our nation and have assets in American banks. Do you agree with this? If proven that these foreign left-wing billionaires are in fact inciting domestic terrorism?
If proven, 100%, without question. This is how you get to it. Like I said, there is a thin line that separates hate speech and freedom of speech to the violence. And when you step across that line, that's when we have the right to protect our republic, to protect our democracy, and those that live within it.
Yeah, Benny is obsessed with AI thumbnails. It's strange. It's a support Israel license plate. People are pissed about it. So you can get a specialized license plate that's like a different color that says they support Israel. You're obsessed with Joe Biden and me. It's a strange combination. It's a strange combination. Joe Biden, an American hero. Joe Biden announces his candidacy for president in 2028. His running mate, none other than Mike Pence. A political stallion. A dream ticket. Elite human Caucasian capital. Didn't the left say that Trump was a threat to democracy? What are they going to say after the leftist political wackos killing people? Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, they think they're just trying to blame. They're just going to blame Trump again. Just ask Destiny. He'll just blame Trump again. We got a nurse who's been fired for cheering another assassination of Trump. It's all these people. This would be nice if they did this. They did a statue. Yeah, sorry about that. Wait, is the chat seen? No, the chat's not seen. Yeah, I actually completely lost connection. You hope Newsom doesn't choose Paul Pelosi to be his running mate in 28 and we're screwed. Yeah, then that would backfire. Then we'd be like, well, Pelosi's a real political fiend. The idea, people keep saying this is a joke. They were just saying I was in bed with Israel. Now Israel shut down my internet. Actually, let me give credit. Okay, so let me just explain what happened. My internet got shut down. American patriots who know I'm now in bed with Israel shut down my internet. But you know who saved me? None other than Palantir. And now I've got the protection of Palantir. So I'm feeling pretty confident. Let's just say that. Is Tyler the fall guy or the actual shooter? Well, no, he's the actual shooter. You can tell by his silhouette and his bone structure. It matches. Here's some news.
become more political and had started to lean more to the left, becoming more pro-gay and trans rights oriented. She stated that Robinson began to date his roommate, a biological male who was transitioning genders. This resulted in several discussions with family members, but especially between Robinson and his father, who have very different political views. In one conversation before the shooting, Robinson mentioned that Charlie Kirk would be holding an event at UVU, which Robinson said was a stupid venue for the event. Robinson accused Kirk of spreading hate. Robinson's father reported that when his wife showed him the surveillance image of the suspected shooter in the news, he agreed that it looked like their son. He also believed that the rifle that police suspected the shooter used matched a rifle that was given to his son as a gift.
As a GIF or a gift? A GIF is a 3-second long... I'm just joking.
I am filing a notice of intent to seek the death penalty. I do not take this decision lightly, and it is a decision I have made independently as county attorney, based solely on the available evidence and circumstances and nature of the crime. Because we are seeking the death penalty, the defendant will continue to be held without bail in the Utah County Jail. Turning to the 10-page, I am filing a notice of intent.
It says a fury of charges. Fury or furry? Maybe he meant furry. This is a wacko. Yeah, this guy's got some real problems.
Was that you? We don't know if it's him or not.
How dare you! How dare you!
Yeah, the crowd thought it was him, so... This is just a rando crazy college guy. Your college had one, no conspiracy. Yeah. If Notre Dame beats ranked USC in there, what do you mean? You think Israel created a clone of Tyler Robinson to do the dirty job, then they went to his house and paid the family and arrested the real one, explain why he's not cooperating? I mean, Palantir would do it. Palantir would have to create the clone. Tim Waltz, is that you? LOL. From this angle, kind of looks like him a little bit. The hair is not long enough. The hair needs to be crazier.
And of course, they need no introduction. That would be, in no particular order from my right to left, Matt Walsh, Michael Knowles, and Ben Shapiro. And I want to explain how this even happened. Obviously, we had the Vice President of the United States honor Charlie by guest hosting the show from the White House yesterday. I was just in D.C. yesterday for that, and it was an amazing experience. I've gotten so much great feedback, and of course, we are so honored that JD wanted to take time, from running the country and leading the world to help honor his friend. And of course, they need.
You're asking if the weapon of choice was. He didn't really have a choice. It was his father's that he gifted it to him. I don't think it was. He didn't go out and buy it, or I think it might have still been his father's because they were insinuating that he had to return it from wherever he dropped it. He was trying to go return it, at least in the text messages. That's what he was saying. Hey, what's good? What's up, bro? Refresh, there's a Megyn Kelly clip. Can't believe Bibi went on Newsmax to debunk the Israel involvement. So funny. Yeah, they asked him about it. They asked him about it.
Don't compare him to anyone. And if you do, then you will incite somebody to say, well, now I feel like I have to stop that and take them out. People have seemed to have forgotten that the president took a shot to the head. And can you imagine if that shot would have gone the way Charlie Kirk's one, and what kind of condition our nation would be in? This is such a dangerous time right now. And now why? You don't need this an opportunity to share your opinions on it. Just, again, it's appalling, and allow folks enough space to grieve. The man hasn't even been buried yet. And it's like, that's why we wanted to have a conversation, that we have to find a way to work together.
So Fetterman. Yeah, Fetterman, I think he's turned a bit. You know, he's turned back to being like an independent. Liberals hate him now.
Talking about most people, he would feel like everyone could be redeemed. And if he could just get to them, if he could just talk to them, if he could just buoy them up with hope, they would do better. They could see themselves as Charlie saw them, as God sees them. And I just ran into that optimism and that positivity from Charlie so often that I really did see him as God's messenger, Tucker, as an angel sent to us. And it's like, we didn't deserve him. I feel like he's gone now because we didn't deserve him.
Do influencers have the responsibility to their listeners to not spread hate? Well, that's a massive gray area. I mean, I guess it depends what you say. Like, if you say you have to go do something and commit this violence, I don't think you should do that. But I don't know. It's like a huge gray area. You can't really police speech like that. Wild how Fetterman actually recovered post-stroke. Yeah, well, he became more conservative. That you know, it is true. Why is she dressed like Catwoman? I know. That's the first thing I noticed. This is what it is.
Okay, I can tell you that. You're either going to take being kicked in the chest, okay, and told get out, and then suddenly they're all communicating behind your back, and just where he talks about that article, something goes out and suddenly it's like, you know, what's going on? They're like trying to make you think you're going crazy because you're saying some sensible stuff. Charlie was at that moment. He says that he is receiving messages calling him an anti-Semite. So how can you lie right now and dispute it? And better question, why are you lying? I don't like little lies. I'm being contacted by a lot of people that are telling me that just within 48 hours before Charlie passed away, his top Jewish donors were pulling funding from him, demanding that Charlie take their name off of the building that they had donated to Turning Point. I guess I can figure out who it is, how many people could have donated a building. And then once Charlie was killed, they said, never mind, put it back on the building. Okay. Charlie himself had alluded to age.
So these Jewish donors, 48 hours before Charlie Kirk was killed, said, take our name off the building. And then he gets killed, and then they make another phone call and say, put it back up. Put the name back up.
Tremendous loss of money coming in. And we'll speak about that more. More people are going to come out with information. This is all inevitable, okay? And I'll also point you in this direction. You guys remember Bibi recently was on a PR blitz, despite the fact that he was, fighting this 96,000 front war because Israel didn't do nothing, okay? He was doing a ton of podcasts in America. He went on to Patrick Bet-David's podcast. He went on to Brennan Tatum's podcast. He went on to the Nelk Boys podcast. Anybody find it weird he didn't do Charlie Kirk's show? Homie very quickly told us that.
Yeah, the thing with Netanyahu is he is so hated. hosting Netanyahu for a podcast is like, it hurts. Especially in the especially on the right now, it hurts significantly. So I can understand why Kirk wouldn't want to host Netanyahu. Honestly, that is interesting that he didn't do, because Netanyahu was going on all those podcasts. Remember the Nelk boys get like fucking canceled for having Netanyahu on? Well, the thing is, like, with those guys, the dynamic is they just sit and nod and ask, they just don't know. They don't know a lot. But that was and then they had like a struggle session with Nick Fuentes over it. Dude, they had like a struggle session with Myron Gaines. And they're like, this individual you should not have this person on. It was like a parent trying to explain to a child.
Charlie was implied that Charlie was penning love letters to him in May. I just love you so much. It's amazing. They were so close. The boys just hits him up like, hey, I know we're fighting this 97,000 front war because we're always the victims, but do you want to just come and maybe stay at my place for the weekend here in Israel? Like, that's the vibe that Bibi was rushing to present to the media. So why didn't he do Carly Kirk's show? I'll leave that as a question for you guys. Common sense, okay? I don't like small lies. And remember, Bibi started this. I am responding to his shamelessness, shameless misrepresentation of what Charlie was going through and what Charlie was saying. Because, and I want to be clear, to me right now, it feels, and I'm using a corporate term here, a bit like a hostile takeover, okay? Charlie builds the company organically on the basis of Charlie and Charlie's honest ideas. Suddenly, that company's got a lot of money, and Charlie's honest ideas are starting to change or maybe add more color. And now he's getting financial threats. He's being called names. He increasingly, he's being told who and what he's allowed to speak to. And he's taking a stance. He's taking a stand privately up to these people. And then it doesn't matter anymore because Charlie's dead.
You're saying that Netanyahu didn't go on Ben Shapiro, but I mean, what would that really accomplish? I mean, I think those guys would know that the people that they're trying to reach really wouldn't be reached. I mean, everyone that watches Ben Shapiro and has a favorable opinion, obviously is going to have a favorable opinion of Israel. I think the point was to try and reach like younger people. So Kirk would be more of a realistic choice for Netanyahu. But I don't know why that didn't happen with Kirk and Netanyahu.
And those very same people who were pressing him are now doing, like, very quickly trying to set in stone that, Charlie, essentially the energy is Charlie died for Israel. He's just one of us. Nobody ask any more questions. That is literally untrue, and we're not going to allow it. Okay.
I don't think he said that Kirk died for Israel. Congrats on 300K. Thank you. That's a big number. 300K subscribers. Netanyahu has no idea how independent media works, but it's not Netanyahu scheduling this shit. Obviously, it's, political strategists in Israel trying to get him on shows that, could potentially change the opinion. I mean, they know they're hated by young people in the United States. Candace starting to go cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Well, I mean, obviously, it's this passive-aggressive woman speak of, there's so many coincidences with Charlie Kirk hating Israel. Of course, there's going to be some type of Israeli involvement in the killing. That's what this sounds like to me. But I mean, it's always the same thing with her. It's always Israel. It's so there's going to be a way to format it and say, well, because A, B, and C happened, then D has to be true. The assassination has to be from Israel.
At Robinson's father's request, the family friend met with Robinson and his parents and convinced Robinson to turn himself in. The family friend spoke to police and reported telling Robinson that it would be best if he brought all evidence with him to the sheriff's office to avoid police having to search his parents' home. The friend also asked Robinson if he had any clothes that were related to what he did. Robinson replied that he had disposed of the clothes in different areas. The roommate. Police interviewed Robinson's roommate, a biological male who was involved in a romantic relationship with Robinson. The roommate told police that the roommate received messages from Robinson about the shooting, and he did provide those messages to police. On September 10th, 2025, the roommate received a text message from Robinson which said, "Drop what you're doing. Look under my keyboard." The roommate looked under the keyboard and found a note that stated, quote, "I had the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk, and I'm going to take it." Police found a photograph of this note. The following text exchange, then took place. After reading the note, the roommate responded, "What? You're joking, right?" Robinson, "I am still okay, my love, but I'm stuck in Orem for a little while longer yet. Shouldn't be long until I can come home, but I gotta grab my rifle still. To be honest, I had hoped to keep this secret till I died of old age. I am sorry to involve you." Roommate, "You weren't the one who did it, right?" Robinson, I am. I'm sorry." Roommate, "I thought they caught the person." Robinson, "No, they grabbed some crazy old dude, then interrogated someone in similar clothing. I had planned to grab my rifle from my drop point shortly after, but most of that side of town got locked down. It's quiet, almost enough to get out, but there's one vehicle lingering." Roommate, "Why?" Robinson, "Why did I do it?" Roommate, "Yeah." Robinson, "I had enough of his hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out. If I am able to grab my rifle unseen, I will have left no evidence. Going to attempt to retrieve it again. Hopefully they have moved on. I haven't seen anything about them finding it." Roommate, "How long have you been planning this?" Robinson, "A bit over a week, I believe. I can get close to it, but there is a squad car parked right by it. I think they already swept that spot, but I don't want to chance it." Robinson again, "I'm wishing I had circled back and grabbed it as soon as I got to my vehicle. I'm worried what my old man would do if I didn't bring back Grandpa's rifle. IDEK if it's had a serial number, but it wouldn't trace to me. I worry about prints. I had to leave it in a bush where I changed outfits. Didn't have the ability or time to bring it with. I might have to abandon it and hope they don't find prints. How the F will I explain losing it to my old man? Only thing I left was the rifle wrapped in a towel. Remember how I was engraving bullets? The F in messages are mostly a big meme. If I see notice bulge UWU on Fox News, I might have a stroke all right. I'm going to have to leave it. That really effing sucks. Judging from today.
Let me just say, that's surprising he would say that. Why else would you write those messages? Those are like political, obviously is like rhetorical, liberal or online slop, but some of that is like that's like political messages on the shell casings. I don't know why he wouldn't want that to be discovered. Isn't that the point of writing it? Will you make a video on conspiracy theories like Trump or Fuentes ordering the assassination? Dude. So what is the plan here? So I make a video talking about the idea that Nick Fuentes ordered the assassination, really? And Trump ordered it on Charlie Kirk? Yeah, that's the part that doesn't really make sense. The idea is, and this is why the people that commit these crimes, they write on their guns, and they'll be writing all over the guns. That's their political messages. Because if they die, then they can it just seems really disheveled. I don't know why he would be like, oh, like, why would he mention, like, why would you even care if they found your shell casings? I'd be mortified if that was shown on Fox News. That doesn't really make any sense. You just killed the dude. What does it matter?
I'd say Grandpa's gun does just fine, IDK. I think that was a $2K dollar scope. Wink, wink. Robinson again, delete this exchange. Again, Robinson, my dad wants photos of the rifle. He says Grandpa wants to know who has what. The feds released a photo of the rifle, and it is very unique. He's calling me, RN, not answering. Robinson, since Trump got into office, my dad has been pretty diehard MAGA. Robinson, I'm going to turn myself in willingly. One of my neighbors here is a deputy for the sheriff. Again, you are all I worry about, love. That came from Robinson. Roommate, I'm much more worried about you. Robinson, don't talk to the media, please. Don't take any interviews or make any comments. If any police ask you questions, ask for a lawyer and stay silent. The search for Robinson's residence. Police executed a search warrant on Robinson's residence. During that search, police discovered a shell casing with etchings like the etchings found on the shells in the rifle near UVU. Police also found several target boards with bullet holes in Robinson's home. Now, as I stated in the beginning, when I read those allegations.
So that is, that's the messages that were revealed. Russia killed Kirk is the new left theory. Really, Russia? All roads lead to Moscow. All roads lead to Jerusalem. No, but that doesn't surprise me they would say that about Russia. These messages all seem scripted. It's so weird. Yeah, I know. I feel like, I mean, some of the way in which they talk is younger people is very strange, like the old man stuff. I mean, that's a Utah thing I heard. So I don't know. You know, you don't want to judge it like, oh, it must be fake because I don't talk like that, but I don't know. You know, I do think there is an idea of trying to limit who gets charged here, so maybe it is a fake exchange that they made up.
And immediately after the shootings, no shell casings were found on the roof, suggesting a bolt action rather than an auto-loading weapon, and only a single
2:30 here in Ireland. Bro, 2:30 in Ireland? Yeah, that's I appreciate the viewership.
Round was fired. Each round in the rifle contained an etched inscription as follows. The fired cartridge was etched, no Tice's bulge, OWO, what's this? The second cartridge that was again not spent, the last three were not spent, were not fired. The second, hey fascist, catch, with arrow symbols. The third cartridge, oh Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Chow Chow. The fourth cartridge, if you read this, you are gay.
Bro, you guys are roasting this dude. This dude, I mean, this dude said notice is a little bit weird. I gotta listen to that one again.
The fourth cartridge, if you read this, you are gay. LMAO. The rifle, ammunition rounds, and towel were sent for forensic processing. DNA consistent with defendant was found on the trigger, other parts of the rifle, the fired cartridge casing, 2 of the 3 unfired cartridges, and the towel. Law enforcement was unable to immediately locate the shooter, so they published photos of the shooter from the UVU surveillance cameras and asked for the public's help to identify him. Meanwhile,
he's engraving bullets in but the roommate didn't know. Right, right. And it's all like anti-fascist, anti-Kirk. It's like trans circle vocabulary that the trans person would know about. You could think this could be a conjured up exchange to try and make it seem like that there was no one else involved for sure. Cash should have put out a tweet when they found the rifle that says notices bolt action. Ooh woo. Yeah. Well, as a play on words. Engraving bullet parts of the story makes it seem like the trans GF might be complicit. Easy explanation for the messages feeling fake would be that the BF knew, so he and his BF made a fake conversation to make his... Yeah, 100%, I could see that. Will interest rates drop tomorrow? Yes, the interest rates will drop by just 0.25, I think. They'll drop by 0.25. And then hopefully we'll get another cut in October.
Enforcement continue to try to identify the shooter through other means. The Washington County investigation. On the evening of September 11th, 2025, as law enforcement continued their investigation, Tyler James Robinson went to the Washington County.
I mean, how fast do you think he would get apprehended if a civilian saw him jump down? I wonder how fast, or what would have happened if a civilian saw him jump down from there.
Sheriff's office with his parents and a family friend to turn himself in. Robinson's mother stated that the following to police. On September 11th, 2025, the day after the shooting, Robinson's mother saw the photo of the shooter in the news and thought the shooter looked like her son. Robinson's mother called her son and asked him where he was. He said he was at home sick and that he had also been at home homesick on September 10th. Robinson's mother expressed concern to her husband that the suspect shooter looked like Robinson. Robinson's father agreed. Robinson mother explained that over the last year or so, Robinson had become more political.
Like, let's think about this for a second. And look, maybe the old guy saved this dude and he would have been arrested without the old guy being there. Because I do wonder, what is the protocol? So the old guy, so the shot happens, obviously law enforcement scrambles, and this old guy says it was me. There obviously has to be some type, like a lax to to looking for the individual. Like, I'm guessing they're still looking, because you always have to think what if it's a version. But you wonder how much resources said, oh, okay, the guy's been caught at this point, we don't have to do anything. Because it's a diversion, but it's a diversion that was just, I mean, an actual, like something like that is very, very surprising that would happen. I mean, the guy got a felony for it. You don't just do that. Obviously, the guy is crazy, but... And now they found CP. I mean, how long is he going to be in jail? Because normally you think a diversion, well, they're working together. So it's a big conspiracy. But he just got lucky. Several of them were on the old guy, right? IDK. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how much it helped. But I mean, if this was a professional, you would think there's probably a pretty good chance they get away with this, with that diversion. Because if you give them 24, 48, then they would leave they would be out of the country, unless there was some type of, when, depending on which plane they take, if they get caught at the airport or something. I mean, what type of information did the FBI have within the first 2 hours to be able to stop someone from getting on a plane and leaving? They were paying all of their attention to the old guy for an hour. I mean, it's an insane thing that kid got that that the old guy did that. Are liberals really funding a lawyer for Robinson? I don't know. I mean, I think it doesn't really matter, does it? Remember, they got Carmelo Anthony. Well, that was more the black community, but they got Carmelo Anthony out of jail. Wonder if there's a manifesto. Right, that's the weird thing. Like, this is a massive killing. Why would you not have a manifesto? Snowden got away from the country easily. Yeah, but Snowden was a different thing. Snowden was a different thing entirely than something like this. This is like a rapid response. Charlie did not have Secret Service level security or anything. No, I know. I'm just saying, just in general. You know, it's almost like the perfect storm of worst case scenario. You know, with the way in which the courtyard was designed, the fact that Kirk, he's really popular, but he doesn't quite have the top level security. So it's like everything comes together, and then this dude creates a diversion. Like, there's like 5 things that happen to allow this kid to escape for at least like, you know, a day and a half. What about tweets sent by people who knew Kirk was going to get shot? Yeah, it's hard to really follow that. You know, where those tweets are coming from. Are they real? You know, is this something that happens at a lot of college campuses? There's a lot of far left liberals that hate Kirk that say, oh, Kirk is going to die, and they say it and they don't really mean it. You don't know the instances in terms of these kids making a crude joke versus actually having information prior. Yeah, he did stock out the area. It was in other messages, I believe.
And had started to lean more to the left, becoming more pro-gay and trans rights oriented. She stated that Robinson began to date his roommate, a biological male who was transitioning genders. This resulted in several discussions with family members, but especially between Robinson and his father, who have very different political views. In one conversation before the shooting, Robinson mentioned that Charlie Kirk would be...
Play the video. I don't know. Where is the video of the neighbor?
...holding an event at UVU, which Robinson said was a stupid venue for the event.
Yeah, I already played this part.
I am charged with bringing justice for those who are harmed. I am charged with bringing justice for Charlie Kirk. I am committed to these aims. I take this responsibility seriously. Today, after reviewing the evidence that law enforcement has collected thus far, I am filing a criminal information charging Tyler James Robinson, age 22, with the following crimes. Count 1, aggravated murder, a capital offense for intentionally or knowingly causing the death of Charlie Kirk under circumstances that created a great risk of death to others. Count 2, felony discharge of a firearm causing serious bodily injury, a first-degree felony. The state is further alleging aggravating factors on counts 1 and 2 because the defendant is believed to have targeted Charlie Kirk based on Charlie Kirk's political expression and did so knowing that children were present and would witness the homicide. The state is also charging defendant with count 3, obstruction of justice, a second-degree felony for moving and concealing the rifle used in the shooting. Count 4, obstruction of justice, a second-degree felony for disposing the clothing he wore during the shooting. Count 5, witness tampering, a third-degree felony, for directing his roommate to delete his incriminating texts. Count 6, witness tampering, a third-degree felony, for directing his roommate to stay silent if police questioned him. And count 7, commission of a violent offense in the presence of a child.
If he decided to wear a mask, would he have gotten away? I don't know. He left his gun behind. It was a problem because apparently it was his father's. And if his father has a really like rare, I don't know, something that makes his gun, his rifle rare. So it would have been a problem when that picture got out and the father would ask him questions. I think the problem is he left the gun. And also, I guess him not wearing a mask or they could tell it was him. The family could tell it was him.
A Class A misdemeanor for committing homicide, knowing that children were present and may have seen or heard the murder and did so based on Charlie Kirk's political expression. Also, following the press conference, I am filing a notice of intent to seek the death penalty. I do not take this decision lightly, and it is a decision I have made independently as county attorney, based solely on the available evidence and circumstances and nature of the crime. Because we are seeking the death penalty, the defendant will continue to be held without bail in the Utah County Jail. Turning to the 10-page information.
Those are the charges that they read. Dude, this Cory Booker is so annoying with this performance art. It's like it's acting class.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Do you want to say anything?
Yes,
at this
sir.
point?
That rant of false information does not bring this country together. If you want to work on bringing this country, it's my time, not yours.
My God.
If you want to talk about
dividing this country,
it is my
I follow
time.
you on your social media posts that
It is
tears
my
this country
time
apart.
to address
There should be a
your
unifying-
falsehoods.
Oh,
You are an
you can try
embarrassment
all
to the
you
division
want
in this country.
to not
Senator,
take
it is my
responsibility
time.
for what
You
you
had
have
your
said.
time.
Sir, you're
Your
making a
time is
mockery of this
over.
committee. Sir, you don't tell me my time is over.
You
The
know how
people
far
of New
we've
Jersey
come
tell me
since
what my
Utah?
time is.
Senator,
You can't lecture me.
you can tell me
Sir,
my time's
you have,
over?
You may be the charge of the
I'm not
FBI,
going anywhere.
but I am not afraid of you.
Mr. Chairman.
Not afraid of you.
Mr. Chairman, point of order.
Senator Booker, I announced at the beginning of this meeting that this back and forth talking over each other doesn't work. And I said if that happened, I asked Patel not to respond, and I was going to give him some time after the senator's time was up to respond. And he has the privilege to do that uninterrupted.
Mr.
So
Chairman, one point of
go
order.
ahead, Mr.
I've
Patel.
watched him talk over us, and you've never once criticized him for us not even being able to get our questions out.
Well,
he has been rude and disrespectful to senator after senator.
And when the senators were not giving him a chance to answer, I didn't stop the senator either. Go ahead, Senator.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If the FBI, under my 7-month leadership, were failing this administration in this country, why do we have 23,000 violent felons arrested this year alone? A double increase from that time last year. Why is it that we have seized 6,000 weapons? Why have we found 1,500 child predators and arrested them? Why have we 300 human traffickers in jail? Why have we found and identified 4,700 children? Why have we seized 1,600 kilograms of fentanyl, enough to kill a third of the American public, a 25% increase alone from last year, 88,000 kilograms of cocaine seized, 7,000 kilograms of meth seized, and that's just on our criminal operations in summer heat. How is it possible that we are taking 8 kilograms off the streets of the cities in New Jersey and preventing the deaths of 607,000 people this year alone, a failure of the FBI and my leadership? How is it that we have counterintelligence arrests already this year exceeding the numbers from the entirety of last year? 33% increase in PRC, 83% in Russia, 60% in the CI space as it relates to Iran, and we haven't even talked about CT, the southern border, the northern border.
Before Senator Cruz, I kind of feel like a...
Well, there's a little spat there.
reports have suggested that the FBI is investigating a broader network of groups that may have had some knowledge of the shooter's plans. Can you give us any details on that, following up what you've already said in public? How's the FBI working to find other potential accomplices, folks who may have known about the shooter's plans, folks who may have encouraged him? Any update on any of that?
So in terms of what we do for an interrogation perspective, we go and reach out to the family and community immediately. And we've conducted those investigations and interrogations with local law enforcement, and we're continuing to do that because those closest to the suspect are going to hopefully know the most about the suspect and his beliefs and his ideology. On top of that, unfortunately, it has been leaked that there was a Discord chat, and for those unfamiliar with it, it's a gaming chat room online that the suspect participated in. So what we're doing, we've already done is
Discord is gaming? Discord is a message board.
Legal process, not just on Discord, so that the information we gathered is sustained and held in a evidentiary posture that we could use in prosecution should it be decided to do so. And we're also going to be investigating anyone and everyone involved in that Discord chat.
Okay, very good. I see the public reports that the Discord thread had as many as 20 additional users. It sounds like you're trying to run down all of that to see if that's accurate, who else may have been on that thread, what they may have known. Is that fair to say?
It's a lot more than that, and we're running them all down.
It's a lot more than 20?
Yes, sir.
And you're running all of it?
Every single one.
So he's saying it's a really wide, which would kind of refute the messages we've seen. Yeah, I wonder what he'll say about the messages. Because the messages tell us that, oh, it's just this kid who did it and his trans boyfriend didn't even know. I don't think anyone really believes that, so we'll have to see in terms of that inconsistency and probably a staged text message chain to try and make look like. And then it's hilarious how they say delete the messages. Guys, when it comes to deleting messages, they're always going to have the messages. They just are. Deleting them doesn't do anything. They're still saved. If they get asked by the FBI, Discord's going to have to turn them over. Was it Israel or not? No, it wasn't Israel. There are some things you could cobble together and say, well, you know, Kirk was turning on Israel, but there's a few things, few coincidences, but you heard that the CIA has this box machine that if you put in a phone in it, even when turned off, and get all the info from it, they need no plug, no power. They can get into all of it. Yeah, I'm sure they have insane shit, dude. They can get into anything. Yeah, that's the thing. You have to assume that, you know, any of those messages are just going to be, you know, they're still going to be there. Discord lawsuit incoming. Well, I don't know why they would refute because they said that, well, he didn't use the Discord at all, and obviously that's false, especially when it comes to talking about the crime, apparently. What is with the Kimmel stuff?
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it. In between the finger pointing, there was grieving. On Friday, the White House flew the flags at half-staff, which got some criticism. But on a human level, you can see how hard the president is taking this.
My condolences on the loss of your friend Charlie Kirk. May I ask, sir, personally, how are you holding up over the last day and a half, sir?
I think very good. And by the way, right there, you see all the trucks? They've just started construction of the new ballroom for the White House, which is something they've been trying to get, as you know, for about 150 years. And it's going to be a beauty.
Yes. Okay. He's at the fourth stage of grief, construction. Demolition, construction. This is not how an adult grieves the murder of someone he called a friend. This is how a 4-year-old mourns a goldfish, okay?
Yeah, I don't know what to say. I mean, it quite literally is the blind leading the blind. I mean, everything he said there and the way he characterized it's just completely false. I mean, I don't know what to say. I mean, but this is Blue Anon. This is how it all happens. It's just like these liberal people, they have no clue what's going on. Because all their influencers, spread this type of stuff. It's like, you want to tell them, it's like, hey, dude, everything you just said is wrong. At least when it comes to, the kid being a fucking right wing. The kid being MAGA. Thoughts on Cash? See you in Valhalla. Yeah, that's a lingo saying. I wouldn't read too much into that. That's a common saying they say within the government. The fake laughing audio isn't fooling anyone. Will you address the red blob issue? I don't know what you're saying. Could you elaborate? Thanks for the streams. No problem, man. Was the Trump video AI? No, that was not an AI video. He actually did say that about the ballroom. But him saying that obviously is completely false about him being a MAGA. The weather is too hot. The weather is too hot. Kimmel's show will be canceled. Some other liberal wacko would just take over. I mean, that's what it is. It's the blind leading the blind. They just... You don't think it was a perfect storm even if you removed the old guy from the equation? You don't think the cops in the area would have caught him? Well, I mean, but you have to understand, the reason I say it's a perfect storm, if somebody sees him jumping down from the roof, he's fucked. Obviously, he got lucky, nobody saw him. That's a very public area. If somebody's walking down the one sidewalk, they would have been able to see him. Run across the fucking thing and jump down. Hey, maybe I should alert someone there was a gunshot. Yeah, he's probably fucked. Oh, yeah, liberals would have celebrated more than they celebrated this if Trump died. Are you kidding me?
Why do you think Biden's FBI was really investigating Charlie Kirk?
Try to intimidate him. You know, it's interesting, Jesse, when I heard that today from Chairman Grassley, something came clear to me. Charlie had said to me a couple of years ago now, he'd taken me aside at one point and said, I think that we are being targeted, that TPUSA is being targeted. And he said, can you help us? And I said, anything you need me to do. And he said, well, listen, I'm just finding out about this. This has got to be what he was talking about. And now we know that Joe Biden, once again, weaponized the FBI to go after his political opponents. It's nothing but terrorism. It's an attempt to silence and intimidate. I'm so glad that Charlie was not intimidated right up to the last day that he had on this earth. That is why he is such a sterling example. But you know what? What Joe Biden did in his administration, we can't ever allow to happen again. You look at the climate they created, Charlie. We're reaping the fruits of that now. The climate of hate and division and suspicion that they deliberately created for years to try to hold on to power. It's despicable, and it's time to turn the page on it.
Yeah, that's what I figured it was. I don't know. We'll have to see this get investigated. It's quite literally fascist. I mean, I was joking, but it is kind of funny. If they get caught with actual proof of doing this. Dude, my thumb fucking nail is fucked. My nail, the nail within on my right thumb is fucked. Actually, just a suicide. Wow. They're really desperate if they're trying to create a hoax about that. Really, Trump? Is it necessary again? Trump. Wow, he's lost some serious weight. What happened to you? I cut it too short. It got cut too short because I lost pressure in part of my nail. I lost pressure in part of my nail and it came up. I had to cut it. It's not that short, but dude, there were people walking the streets. There were just NPCs walking the streets as he was jumping down. You can see it in the video. You know how that feels? It gets better soon. Yeah, no, I know. You know how you lose pressure in it. I don't know. I lost pressure because obviously there's a lot. There's pressure that holds the nails together, and then the top part obviously is what you cut. But the pressure, I lost pressure in some of it. I don't know. I gotta go see a doctor. I gotta get insurance. No, just my one thumbnail. It was an old man. It was an old man with white hair. An old quack. Fed decision tomorrow. It's gonna be a pump. It's gonna be a 0.5. It's gonna be a 0.25. People say it's priced in. Seriously, it's priced in. I'm sick of people saying that. Hopefully we get something. Hopefully the crypto market reacts accordingly. It's gonna take time for it to react. I don't know if Kirk. It's impossible to say, man. It's impossible to say if Kirk would have been president. You know, he was so young. Obviously, he had a trajectory of being extremely popular at a young age, but nobody really knows about that. I think he would have been definitely a governor, a senator, something along those lines, at least, like a good trajectory to be that. It was them saying he died in a school shooting. Right, I know it's completely false. They try and do that to minimize it and say it's just one of many school shootings and we should, so that's why they do that. Please find the interview of them kissing. The neighbor. The neighbor was like, I was on my bicycle with training wheels and they were out kissing. I don't even know how, like, and then he said he heard them while he was driving on his bicycle. He overheard them talking about a sex change surgery for the one. Dude, how do you even hear that? What is going on?
Day after day, it's the repetition that matters. Hitler, Hitler, Hitler. And you convince people that they're living in a hellscape and they better do something about it. So the main thing I saw was that. And it, once the bubble is formed, it's hard to get out. I mean, you can't talk people out of it. There's no amount of information that will change their mind. Cognitive dissonance will kick in if you show them a counterexample. And the weird thing about Charlie, who I'd never met, by the way, I didn't have the pleasure. The weird thing is that when I started hearing all the accusations, and there were a lot of them, I said to myself, well, I'll bet some of these might be a little bit true. So I started to look for the original quotes, etc. None of them are true. And there were a lot of them. They were all either a made-up quote or a quote and a context and nothing else. And when you hear people talking about it, especially the young people, they'll say things like, he was a bad hater person, but there's no example. So that's sort of the sign that it's a mass hysteria, because they can't give reasons and they don't seem too interested in the reasons. They're just sure that something has to be done. Now, on top of that, for the young people, there's probably also an economic pressure. They might feel that life doesn't have a positive path. So that might be playing into this a little bit as well. But I do wonder what will happen. And I predict that there's going to be another big bubble of psychological distress when the people who have said such bad things about him in public realize that none of it was true. Because over time, it looks like he's going to be talked about so much that we'll finally have a complete body of information about.
I wonder what Tucker thinks about the clip of the neighbor.
Him, so we can understand them. And it won't happen to most people. Most people will just have cognitive dissonance. They'll still believe he was, Hitler Jr. But there will be some people, not a big percentage, who are going to realize that they did something so shameful that it will haunt them for the rest of their lives. That they were part of saying something terrible about one of the best people that we've witnessed. I mean, he genuinely was a high character person, and you could see it in everything he did. So there's something big coming up. Yeah. But then another thing that happened that was fascinating to me, because I didn't expect it, which was the Democrats have always had what I'd call a machine, which is that since they worked with the media, they had the media in their pocket, you would see it happen when they'd have some, all right, our message this week are these words, and then everybody would say the same words. And then the media would just pump it out. So it was like this big, well-functioning machine. And then they had the NGOs and all the funding tricks, etc.
We don't want to do it in a woman's prison. He identifies as a female. Yeah. He identifies as a female. Dude, stop with the Fuentes shit again. Not that again. Remember that?
I don't think there's confusion about who we're targeting, Caitlin. We've been very clear about who we're targeting to the extent that there are organized groups raising money with the intent to organize individuals to commit acts of violence, whether it's against law enforcement, whether it's against individuals, whether it's against people in this administration, whether it's against Democrats. We're going to go after them. That's not been confusing. It's something that everybody's been very consistent on with messaging, which is that we're not going to stand by and let people behind the scenes fund people who are actually terrorists. And that includes people that are throwing rocks at ICE trucks, people who are assaulting officers during supposedly peaceful protests, which are not peaceful at all. That's what we're focused on. And there's no confusion within the Department of Justice that that's our focus. I don't think there's confusion about who we're talking.
Caitlin Collins.
Personally, like, look, I'm ready to, not physically, but destroy these people's careers, put them on blast. I'm ready to do whatever it takes to make sure that they understand how screwed up their thought process is. But how do we get back to a place where, there is civil debate? Like, are we past that? Are we ever coming back to it?
Oh, listen, I'd love it. I would love it, but I don't know how you get back to civil debate when they try and put bullets in people when they disagree with you, right? I mean, first they try and silence you, then they ignore you, then they laugh at you, and then for some reason they resort to violence, and that's exactly what they've done. That's been their game plan. They tried to take out my father because he's led the greatest movement in the history of United States politics, maybe in the history of politics around the world, right? Yeah. They tried to take out Charlie Kirk because he mobilized from 5 years ago an entire segment of our population that was totally indoctrinated, that was being taught revisionist history. Yeah. And guess what? He changed their mindset. And guess what? They want to put a bullet in him because of that. All that did was piss off not only this country, but...
Yeah, remember that? Scott Jennings, Caitlin Collins. Opposites attract.
The entire world.
Love is in the air.
And by the way, not just the youth vote. It pissed off everybody. It pissed off adults. It pissed off old people.
All right, guys, that's going to do it for this live stream. That's going to do it for this one. Thank you for watching. I appreciate the donations. Appreciate all the donations. You just turned in. I did 2 hours, 2.5 hours, maybe. 2 hours, 15 minutes. My live stream was interrupted, unfortunately, but it always happens. All right, guys, I'll see ya.